Note, this is an opinionated list and we're going to be making updates periodically. But for number 10, we're going to give it to Everyone Golf's VA. Now, Everyone Golf has a long history, with its first video game being built in 1997,
Hope your
and it's
score will
also
be
been
just as
called Hot
beautiful.
Shots Golf. There's close to 7 or 6 different Everyone Golf's games, including Everyone Tennis is another one as well. Now, it's important to note that the online server for Everyone Golf stopped September 30th, 2022, so just recently. It had pretty good ratings online for the VR version, so we had to push it over to give it on this list of top 10. Now, it's got a 4.4 from Amazon and also a 4.2 from GameStop. This video game company is built in Japan and continues to produce some great video games.
Give it a little power. This should be fairly straight.
And that's what we're doing here. We're bringing you number 9 now. For the top 10 golf video games of all time, we got to go back in time before we move forward. And for the next 2 video games on this list, that's exactly what we'll be doing. The number 9 on this list here is The Lynx, The Challenge of Golf, a video game I personally remember playing as a kid. It was developed by Access Software, and it was originally published on MS-DOS in 1990. Now, I remember playing the Windows version in 1992, and there's a lot to like. Now, there's only one course you could possibly play on this video game. It's the Torrey Pines South course, but the graphics are incredible for the time. Now, there's commentary. There's also a replay option that it had as well. Again, just one course you could play throughout this, so you could add on courses. There was updates. Again, it was through a computer, which is different, and multiplayer options, multicolors, of course, and there was some you pick and choose some certain different things as you made some changes here. I remember playing this game not too long ago. I actually went back and downloaded the game and started to play through it here, and you could see just well beyond its time. And that is going to bring us into our number 8 on this list. Now, the first couple video games aren't going to be the best graphics. You can see good layout here with Torrey Pines. So let's just quickly move in to number 8. And with the course, or not the course, but the video game that we decided here was Golf 1984. We got to give tribute to the original OGs of the golf video games. Now, this video game you could purchase back in May 1st, 1984 by Nintendo. It was the first video game ever that actually had accuracy when you could swing, and it was a fully fledged video game. You could see some of the great content that we were able to pull of this video game that we were able to download. And I will say there's some Easter eggs throughout this. We're not going to give them away. Check it out in the description where those Easter eggs are. But from 1991, it was actually in 1991, Nintendo finally identified who was this one golfer that you can only play on this video game. You could see through the swing options. It was a little bit tricky off the bat. A lot of water on some of these these holes. Going to compare them to some of the courses that we played on our channel. And if you're new to this video channel, take a look at, if you like anything golf, this is going to be the channel for you. We wanted to try some things different, and as we, on a rainy day, this might be the best thing for us on this channel. But you could see there was a putting option, just twists and turns, a course that hopefully we could find one day and play here. But this Nintendo Golf, and originally switched over, and we called him Mario back in 1991. Nintendo got ahead of that, I would say. Only took 7 years, Nintendo. Nice job. Well, now we're going to be looking at number 7. This list is starting to get a little bit predictable as you move in to number 7. One would roll their eyes. Number 7, we're going to give it over to Mario Golf, but there's a lot to talk about here because there wasn't one game that was made. Now, made by Nintendo, it's a very well-known game. Now, we pulled a little bit of everything. It's pretty much the evolution of Mario Golf here. So, the one that we decided to pick out of the 7 games, so there's NES, GBC, N64 version, which is the one we pick. There's Advanced Tour, Toadstool Tour, and also the World Tour. World Tour was up there as well. Some of the footage here is on the World Tour. So all in all, you were able to get the N64 version in June 1999. Now, what was so great about this one was that it also had, you could choose a player, you had Mario, Princess Peach, Luigi, so you had some options of different players at the time. You also had different versions of the games. You had Mini Putt Putt, you also had Speed Golf, Ring Shot was another one, some great graphics. The different versions of Mario Golf are all great. Some of the better footage that we have right here. You could see you could change your location of where you could swing. You could choose different characters as we just stated. But most importantly, the graphics were great. You were able to have a community that enjoyed watching it as well. The putting was a little bit challenging towards the end. We downloaded the game, and all in all, you could see that you make some putts out there for the most part. It's a fun game. If you haven't played it, go out and play the N64 version 1. And you got the Game Boy one as well, which is one that we wanted to at least throw on there, the Advanced Tour one, which we mentioned. But all of them were great. This one, definitely the footage not that good. So let's now look at number 6 here on our list. We're going to be bringing you the Lynx again, but this is a different video game one. It's the Lynx 2003. There's so many updates to this video game from the last one that we had to move and have a different separate one for this. And it took a while to download. It's a pretty big video game, and that's because there's a total of 6 golf courses to choose from, 5 of which you could play in real life. We even one from New Zealand, which we like on this channel because we did top golf courses in New Zealand, and one fictional one in Africa. Now you could choose from 9 different golfers. 5 of them are just made up, and then the 4 are pros, from Annika to Sergio. So that's pretty interesting. Some pros back then when this was originally sent out to the public and available for publish in 2002. So you also have a pretty cool thing that was brought into the table was golf course designer by Arnold Palmer. Golf Course Design 1.5 was included with this video game, and it also had a career mode, which was one of the first times a golf video game had that. So you can start off from qualifying school and make your way out to the pros. But the one thing that jumped out at everyone on this comment section, and it's probably one of the best video games out there for golf, is the backdrops of this. I mean, this is almost like we were like World Twilight Golfer out here hitting the best golf courses in the world. Speaking of which, we're going to be hitting some of the best golf video games because we can at least afford some of those travel. So now let's look at our number 5 golf course here. And of course, we're going to get a good one on our list, Tiger Woods PGA Tour.
Of course, a Tiger Woods golf is going to make it on this list. Why wouldn't it? It's a course that I remember playing all the time when I was playing virtual golf. Now, the Tiger Woods PGA Tour 10 was first dropped June 2009. It was compatible for the PlayStation 3, the Nintendo Wii, and the Xbox 360. All 3 put together made this list for number 5. It also had an online mode that only went for a couple years to 2011. September it stopped. It had some compatibilities with the Wii, where you could have the weather channel linked in, where it can give you local weather, which is interesting. It also had a tournament challenge mode, so you can reenact some of your famous shots from Tiger Woods. Now, in regards to reviews, it didn't get the best reviews. IGN gave it a 8.3 out of a 10, and Game Zone gave it an 8.5. It did have some big courses like Bethpage Black, Torrey Pines, number 2 at Pinehurst, and just a couple other big name ones as well. I like the game. I thought it was a good game. I'm just going to move on and talk about the next 4 video games. And again, this is an opinionated list. It's so important to use your comments down below. As we provide some of the footage of it, you got to make the decision if you think it should be higher or lower on this list. Let's move in to number 4, where we're hitting up the PGA Tour 2K21.
Outside of its amazing graphics, it's hard not to put this one on the list so far. Now, it's the second game licensed by the PGA Tour they rolled out, and it's where you could play against the pros, so that's a pretty cool factor. This game came out August 2020 and sold just around 3 million copies as of May 2022. The career mode is the thing that pushed us over the edge to give it our number 4 spot. With association with the My Player mode, there's just so many different ways to mix and match. You have virtual courses, you have course builder, and then you can also download your favorite courses or even your local courses if they're built there on the server. And you know what? I would say in regards, both maybe the 2K22 or 2K20 could have been on this, but we had to put one of it. So we're going to do 2K21 so far on this list at our number 4 spot. And if you made it this far, keep a lookout, because what we do on this channel, we try to hit all the top golf courses in each state. So wherever you're living, we have that video of the top public golf course that you can actually play. But we're going to show you a little bit more footage of this PGA game that I didn't download just yet because it's such a big game, but I know I've played it before and it's a good one nonetheless. So let's now go into our top 3 video games that have golf related stuff in it. So let's head on over to a bar, because that's where our next video game will probably be located. The Golden Tee Arcade. Now this was designed by Incredible Technology, and it's a pretty interesting concept. Well, it was originally started back in the 80s with the first one. The idea was to pretty much have a golf simulator type feel, and they ended up going with this output of a trackball and buttons to kind of navigate the ball. And you've seen these before. They've been at your local bars, and it's the Golf Arcade. It's first released by Golden Tee Golf in 1989, and the last release was by Golden Tee Live in 2021. And there's been numerous updates, whether it's on a PC, because they did have some releases on PCs and PlayStations, but also it's pretty much known for the bar scene and being at your local bar. Now, this has a whole lot of history within it, and we might do another video on it. But what really kind of put Golden Tee on the map was its idea of putting kind of an online network plan together and having a central computer to kind of keep track of their tournament plays. And that was back in 1995. So when Golden Tee 3D came out in 1995, there was a stress test where they could kind of put together a tournament, which they did the next following year. And in 1996, they did successfully have a tournament where the grand prize was $1,000. 6 states were competing in it, and it was considered an online virtual in-person success. And by the next year, about 150 central areas have been formed in about 32 states, and the video game took off at all the local bars, selling astronomical amounts of these. You can get one online for, looks like, just about $1,000 from some older ones. You can even get them for maybe even $500. We looked online. I mean, we might even put one on this show down the road. Who knows? But it's a game that you have to consider as one of the best golf video games known to man. And it really started off with the idea of having a golf simulator and turning it into, honestly, a more practical golf video game back in the 1989. I mean, that's a long decades ago. So it's very impressive to see something like this still happening. It's one of the longest franchising video games, arcades out there, and also because of its online service with keeping track of tournaments, it really paved the way for other video games down the road, which you could say about the Lynx golf video game as well on the computer. They put a lot of work into that. So let's take a look at the 2 golf courses left on this list. There's got to be some good ones if we made it this far. And one would say this is where the list could become controversial. That is, we're going to give it our number 2 spot to Wii Sports. And it's a free game considered, because it came with the Wii console when you did buy it back in 2006. And one of the 5 games was the sports ones, which introduced a lot of people that have never played golf or any golf game, or even considered a golf game, or knew about golf games, introducing them to hole-in-ones and having a great time, and almost thinking how easy they were out there as well. Now, Wii Sports, you can get pretty aggressive on some of these holes. You can hack it up as well, but this was one of the games that you could say brought families together, maybe even friends apart, because of how demanding and how unlucky some of the shots are. There was a couple lags. The original cost of the Wii when it came out was $250. So you got 5 games pretty much associated with that $250, and one of them was a golf game, which opened the door for Tiger Woods Golf and other golf games that have already been on this list. And that Wii factor, feeling like you're playing golf, pushed it over the edge, and it's got to make it more virtual. And one would say at the end of this list, it's probably a golf simulator that is the number one. That's not correct. We haven't even considered that. We might do a video of the top 10 golf simulators down the road, but right now we're focused on video games as close as we can get. And we get a little controversial with this one. For Wii Sports, there's a total of 9 holes, and that includes 3 different difficulties, with 3 holes associated with each difficulties, making it up to 9 holes. There's a putter, a wedge, and an iron driver to choose from, so 4 different to choose from. Then you also have the Wii Sports Club, which opened up a full 18-hole golf course, which we're not going to put on this list because, again, it starts to get extremely controversial at our number 2 spot here at Wii Sports, because you've played Wii Sports, and you can't argue that you've played some of these other ones. This is a top 10 list of the top video games, and we're doing the best we can. If you don't like it, just comment down below, and we're going to try to accommodate and make updates to these lists periodically. The number 1 could make other people upset, and if you haven't seen a Tiger Woods golf game yet that you liked, that's because you were going to see it on the next one. It's a tie for number 1. That is Tiger Woods Golf 2004, and also Tiger Woods Golf 2005. We're going to give it a straight up tie at number 1. Here's why. Outside of its major updates with graphics back then, 2004 opened the door, and that's the footage you're seeing right there, of some creative opportunities within the realm of golf. You got to be who you want to be in this game, and most importantly, there was 30 golfers to choose from. Some had their own different styles, about half real, half of them weren't, and that was one of the best part about this game, was the game face option, and also create a golfer. You could have so many options, and you could shoot just outlandish scores out there playing. It was a fun game, and the graphics don't look good, but back then that was incredible. And then moving on to 2005, which is the footage that you're going to see right here, a little bit crisper, and that made a big difference back then. Then the reviews didn't get good. IGN put this at a 6.8 out of a 10. Speeding up the footage, there's legendary mode. That was the big difference back then for this, and that had Arnold Palmer, Jack, Ben Hogan, got to be all those players as well throughout the game. Now, the big change from 2004 to 2005, I would say the new courses. That was something big. About 8 new licensed courses that you were able to play in 2005, and 2 of those, so a total of 10, were free. Well, they were all free, but were fantasy courses, and that was something that they had added as well. If you've made it this far on this list and you don't agree with our number 1 or even any of it, let us know down at the comment section. We're going to be constantly updating videos like this periodically, and if you're interested in anything golf related, this might be the channel for you. What we try to do here is bring you the top 10 public golf courses in your area, and then we start to think about the top golf courses in the country, and we've even been doing top strange, top odd, top crazy, top expensive, everything golf course related, and we're going to be moving into other golf activities as well. And this was the start to the virtual world of golf with our top 10 golf courses on this list. If you made it this far, thanks for being a fan. Keep a lookout for more videos to come, and if you haven't, just go play some golf if you've been watching this and you're looking to play. This is World Twilight Golfer. An average golf membership is going to cost you right around $1,000 to $5,000. Now we're going to be bringing you those top 10 most expensive